Purchase your beats today.
Absolutely, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. But the idea of cultural identity as a leader in the women's space, especially when you're dealing with young women, in terms of mentorship, what would you say or advise a young African woman who maybe is traveling to the United States in search of the American dream? What would you be your advice to them in terms of maintaining their original self-identity versus trying to assimilate with the culture that they now find themselves in?
Yeah, that's again another excellent question. But I like it also, Dr. Gwamisa, because it's very pragmatic, right? This happens every day, right? You know, there's literally people who immigrate, they go to different cultures. But even within the United States, there's people who grow up in a particular community, and then maybe they go to college, or in my case, you know, I always grew up in an academic environment. I now work in corporate America. So you're always going to get these challenges in real life if you expand and as you pursue your dreams and your potential, where it's a different space from which you grew up. So what I will tell young women today, and really that's my passion, right? My whole foundation is about really developing young women and thinking about how you grow professionally, but also personally, because they're not truly separate. So the first thing is really understand your cultural identity. Now, it is not every culture is the same, but we have to be honest that a lot of times African cultures are probably not represented in the best way, right? A lot of times what we grow up to learn, I think it's changing now, but a lot of times we learn about all of the negatives, or we internalize the negatives about our culture. And a lot of times we don't focus on some of the things that are great. And I'll give you a great example. You know, my village and a lot of ethnic groups in Cameroon and West Africa literally had very democratic historical institutions, right? They had a council of elders, right? We never had dictatorship. So there's this huge learnings that we never even think about. You know, there were societies where they were very structured, they were very organized, they had excellent systems of governance, there was a lot of respect, they were very consultative, they were really excellent leadership models that as we learn about, you can literally adopt today, right? You say, okay, if I want to make a tough decision, who do I call into the room? I'm going to make the final decision, but who do I speak with? Who do I consult with? Who do I surround myself with? So, you know, I mean, some of those are really big things I'm talking about, but even very simple things like your dress, how you think, how you approach yourself, how you approach your relatives, you know, even very personal things about your culture, it's very important to look at them from a positive lens, right? Because a lot of times we tend to be very self-critical. We tend to really focus on the things that are not great, you know, some of the parts of our history that are not good, or even contemporary things that are happening today. But they say, you know, people are very hardworking. I always say African women are the most hardworking women that I know in the world. But a lot of times people don't tell you that, right? You have to look at your mom, how hard she works. You have to look at your aunts. You have to look at your family to really think, gosh, wow, these women work hard. They make sacrifices. So step number one, again, is really getting to know your identity, who you are, your history, take pride in it, take ownership of it, learn it, understand it. That's step number two. And then, of course, when you now move into a new space, you want to learn that space, right? I think, you know, one of the examples that they always give, there's a great book that I read as part of my development. It's called Executive Presence. And what executive presence is if you're in a room with other leaders, how can you be perceived as a leader? And one of the things that make people open up to you is if they identify with you in some way. So if you walk into the room and you cannot relate to anybody, it's very hard for them to listen to you. And so when you come into a new culture, find out what are those things that you identify with. You know, what are the foods that you like? You know, are there foods in that culture that you're familiar with? There are certain things that are common to everybody, right? This whole idea of eating together, families having dinner together. Those are some of the things you always want to identify with. And that's how you open conversations with people. You talk about the things that you have in common. Sports, I love sports. And one of the reasons is because sports is universal, right? When they play the World Cup, everybody's talking about the World Cup. So you always want to find those areas of commonality and build bridges and connectivity. You know, the big word today is connectivity, being able to connect with people. But at the same time, know what are those intrinsic positive elements of your culture that you literally can bring to the table to solve big problems.
I just love it. But listen, even at eUnity Solutions, we always reminding our clients and customers that your cultural identity is a hidden treasure. So if your business is going to grow, if you're a business owner, if you're a leader, you have got to tap into that unique talent and leverage the talents that those individuals that come from different backgrounds have values and beliefs that will benefit your organization or the growth of your business. So it is just a no-brainer. And with the changes in demographic statistics, you will sooner or later have to deal with people from all kinds of backgrounds, from all races, all ethnicities. So why not do it now? So you're just losing out and you're not making that global impact that your business could be doing and getting more return on investment. Even Michelangelo once said that in every brick of stone, there is a hidden treasure, and it's up to the work of the sculptor to tap it out. So why are we not giving individuals in our places of work the opportunity not just to be on the menu, but to sit on the table and contribute to the ideas for solution to the problems that they have? Why not? So business leaders, if you're listening this morning, please learn how to leverage the diverse talent that you have. It is not just about bringing them in and then letting them sit on the sidelines. Thank you so much. We're going to move on to the next question.
Purchase your beats today.